Right, welcome to this super secret video for Rollapalooza. I'm going to be covering all of the basic rolling variations that we'll be doing, as well as some progressions or regressions, I guess actually would be the better term for them. The first thing you need to know is that for whatever reason, over the last number of years that I've been teaching this stuff, I find that people find rolling to be harder than rocking, crawling, all these other different things. And I think that the reason why is that we are not very accustomed to using our neck anymore. So, we look in the rearview mirror, or we just have a screen that shows us, where we're going as we back up. We sit, we get up to move things, so we're not doing a lot of movements with the head. And that is very important for rolling. In fact, with only a few exceptions, all of rolling can basically be summed up by head control. Head control is absolutely fundamental for all athletic activities, and it is going to be make or break in terms of your rolling. The better you can control your head, the better you can roll. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of the different rolling variations, and like I said, we're going to do a couple of regressions so that if you're not quite there with any of them yet, you will get there very quickly. First one we're going to be looking at is going to be the egg roll. Big mistake that people make with the egg roll is not moving their head enough. In fact, this is, I would say, timing more than anything is the big factor with this, because people can do this, and they can do this, but they have to do it quickly. It's like the first time you did a kettlebell swing, odds are you were a bit slow, and so it was really awkward, and it wasn't until you sped up and started doing it faster than you thought you should, all of a sudden it became much easier, right? Well, the egg roll is exactly the same. So what you're going to do is you're going to start here. This is the standard. I'm going to show you a regressed version momentarily. So from right here, you're going to look up, roll back, and then forward. So it's immediately back, forward, You're not going to do this and then expect to go forward, right? If my head's back here, I'm not going anywhere. The minute I look forward, now I can start to roll forward, because your body follows your head. So the head has to do the heavy lifting, as it were. Now, for some people, this is going to be a little bit tough. So if that's you, what I want you to do is come on the floor here, and then simply do these little rocking motions back and forth, just like this. And you will be good to go. Next up in the flexion-based rolls is going to be the hard roll. Now, once again, I am going to demonstrate the standard version, then I'll show you a couple of easier versions, okay? The hard roll, honestly, it's just called this because it's really freaking hard. What we did with the egg roll, moving forward and backward, is going to be done now side to side with the hard roll, okay? So the hard roll is basically kind of like it's a mix of a roll and then a cross roll. So you're going to be in this cross roll position here, elbow touching the knee, and you're going to look, flop over. Okay, now I'm going to look over the other shoulder, and I'm going to keep looking, and bam, I'm back. Okay, I'm going to show you the other side. Right here, I'm going to look. I'm really driving with my head to here. Now I'm looking over my shoulder, and I'm really reaching with my head, and now I'm back to here, right? If you don't even have the mobility to get the elbow to the knee, it's not happening. But you do have a couple of other options, right? The most important thing, again, is that it's driven by the head and it's moving you from side to side. So number one, what you can do is, if you don't have the mobility, you simply go to here, and again, you reach with the head at both sides. Once again, like this, reach, looking over the shoulder, bam, just like so, right? Now, if even that is tough, because let's say your core strength is not up to snuff just yet, what you're going to do is you're going to bend the leg rather than straighten it. So, instead of being here, you'll be here, right? You can even bend this arm. You're going to reach like so, reach like this. And with this arm, you can actually use this to kind of help you as well. So as you get stronger, oops, like this, you'll need to use this arm less. You can see I'm not really using it here, right? And then as that gets easier, you can put the arm straight overhead, look, just like so. And then eventually you can start straightening the leg a little bit. Just like so. All right, now this one, again, it's going to take a little time, so it might make sense to start with the easiest version, and then as the challenge progresses, you simply do more challenging versions of it. Next, we're going to be focusing on the extension-based rolls. And one of the things that a lot of people seem to have a hard time with is the frog roll, which is, in my opinion, is very ironic because when everybody starts with the original strength resets, at least at first, what happens is that they are much more likely to use ipsilateral movements, meaning moving the same side. So you'll see this sometimes with people's crawling. They'll do this sort of a thing, right? Well, frog rolls require you to make contact with the same side, and then people simply forget how to do that once they move contralaterally, okay? But here's what a frog roll looks like. You're gonna be in this position here. If this is not comfortable for the low back, you can always, put your hands in this position, that's also fine. But from here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look over your shoulder, and I'm gonna keep looking. As I'm looking at this hand here is going to push into the ground, and then this one, I'm gonna come together here, right? So I'm gonna show you again. Over the shoulder, making contact. Now this hand is pushing me up, bam, and now I'm seated, right? And I'm gonna reverse it. I'm gonna look over my shoulder and I'm gonna reach with my hand, okay? Because I'm not trying to hit the floor. So, reach with the hand. This side is touching, so I'm gonna maintain contact right here, bring this over, and then I'm gonna repeat on the other side. So it's gonna be head, look over one shoulder, reach, touch right here, and boom, I'm in this position right here. And coming back, bada bing, all right? Pretty straightforward. Now, there's really not regression for this. It's just a matter of using the hands more or using it less. So there's just not an easy way to regress this. But it's relatively, apart from the difficulty at first, it's relatively achievable by almost anybody. So at least give it a shot, see how you do. Okay, now, next one is going to be the elevated roll. There are basically two regressions, and then one progression. I'm going to show you the standard one at first. What you're going to do is you're going to get into the push-up plank position, and then from here, what you're going to do, I always like to start by looking in the direction I'm going to go, but that's up to you. You're going to reach across your body. So if I'm going to look to the left, I'm going to reach my left foot. And I'm going to keep reaching until this hand starts to become weightless, and then boom, I'm up in the air, this high bridge position. Okay, now I'm going to reach down with the hand until this foot starts to become weightless. And once again, I'm going to look, and I'm going to look down at the ground, looking over this way. Bada bing, bada boom, right? Now, the regressions for the elevated roll are still every bit as powerful. If you're finding that this is a little hard to control, what I would do is go into one of these. So I'm going to show you two options, and then I'm going to show you a progression option as well. So first things first, we're going to start off on your knees. So normally I don't recommend these for push-ups, but these actually work very well for the rolls. So what you're going to do here is you're going to start here. Once again, look over to one side and reach across. So if I'm looking left, I'm going to reach left until this hand becomes weightless, and I can just reach it up in the air, okay? Now I'm going to look down. I'm looking at the curtains behind me. I'm going to keep looking until this foot becomes weightless. Bring it back here. Once again, looking over my shoulder. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to reach with this foot. Reach until my hand becomes weightless. And repeat. Now I'm going to look over toward the camera and reach. And here I am again, right? But those feel pretty easy, but these are still not quite there yet. You can do this. Big fan of these. You really feel them in the core, and you also really feel them in the triceps and the upper back. Exact same thing. Looking over the shoulder. Reach, reach, and go from there. I'm going to look now toward the curtains. Come down to the ground. Foot becomes weightless, and it comes back. Reaching with this side. Come back up. Reach, and I'm back. Now, you've already seen the standard version. The progression for the standard version is one of my favorites. So you're going to be down on the ground like this, and you're going to do the exact same thing. So you're going to look over your shoulder, reach until this hand starts to become weightless, and now you are in the high bridge position, but you're on your forearm. You're going to reach once again, reach, 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 and once again reach with this foot, and come on back. These are really great for pressing movements because you have to get the upper back engaged. You also have to get the triceps working very hard. You have to have the shoulders nice and stable. So these can be very good for a variety of different presses, one-arm push-ups, military press, and so on and so forth. So they are a bit more advanced. They do take a little bit more out of you, so this might be something you don't want to commit yourself to right off the bat, but it's definitely something good to keep in your arsenal for later. Finally, we're going to come to the twisting-based rolls. And these are really pretty straightforward because what we're doing is we're restricting movement in one part of the body while encouraging it in another. So we're going to start off with the most fundamental of them, which is going to be the segmental roll. And the segmental roll, again, most people, the problem that they have with it is just with reaching with the head. Because a lot of times what I see is people will be here, like this, lift their head, or they don't lift their head, and then they just reach, and they're kind of like looking at the ceiling, and they're like, oh, I'm no good at these. The problem is you're not using your head. So, tuck your chin, lift your head like you're looking at your belly button, and you're going to reach, and I'm reaching with my forehead and with my fingers at the same time. So my hand is not going further than my head. My head's not staying put, and my hand's moving. They're both moving in the same direction at the same time. Flop over, right? If you don't flop over, this is the regression, by the way. Regression is you reach, you get to your sticking point, and you come back. These are every bit as good because the only real purpose of the segmental roll is to cross this imaginary midline of your body. That act helps the two hemispheres of your brain to work together better, so you don't really need to go further than that, okay? The extra is a bonus. I like doing the extra. It's not to say that you shouldn't do it, but it does mean that if you can't do it, you're still getting the benefit that you need from it, okay? So one more time. I'm gonna reaching with my forehead and my forehand and my fingers, okay? Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my head, look over my shoulder, and I'm going to reach. And I usually use the elbow like this. So now I'm reaching with my head and with my elbow, and I roll back. Okay? Lift, look, reach. Once again, lift, look, and reach. Very simple, right? Now one more time. The regression to this is just partial range of motion. That's it. Okay? For the windshield wiper, which we're going to be doing right now, regressions are a little bit different. So I'll show you the full version first. You're going to be on the ground, hands like this, all right? And one thing you want to make sure of is that you've got your knees at or above the belt line at all times. You do not want to do them from here. It puts way too much rotation in the low back, and that is a no-no, all right? So from here, I'm going to go to one side, go to the other side. This is a full windshield wiper, okay? Now, what you may need to do is start here, okay? Once again, knees always at or above the belt line. Reach to one side, reach to the other side. Now, one of the important things is that you have to keep your your upper body immobile. So in the segmental roll, you're not lifting this leg. This is a very common mistake that people make. You're keeping the lower body completely relaxed. You're not letting this opposite leg lift, okay? I meant to mention that earlier, did not mention it. But the same thing goes with the windshield wiper. If you're getting to this point and then well, I'll show you the other side. Let's say you're getting to here and then you start lifting up, you've gone too far. You only want to go as far as you can control it. Okay? Now, this might not feel like you're doing much, but if you do it for a good couple of minutes, you're seriously going to start to feel it. And as the weeks go by, you're going to improve your range of motion, right? Now, to increase the difficulty, simply take your legs or your knees from being fully bent to being half bent, like so. And then eventually you can straighten one leg, switch, straighten the other, until finally you're doing the full thing. Okay? So, quick recap on the twisting ones. Again, you want to make sure with the segmental roll that your legs are not compensating and helping you move. So if you're here, you're reaching, and all of a sudden this happens, it's a compensation. Stop short of that. Let's say I get to here and that lifts. That means I don't want to go any farther than this. Nope. Just stay right there. Okay? With the windshield wiper, only go as far as you can while keeping your shoulder blades on the ground. Okay? So that means if you're going this direction, you get to here and you're good, but then a little further, all of a sudden, shoulder blade lifts off the ground. It's too far. You're not going to get the proper benefit from it, so don't push any further than you absolutely have to. All right? Let me know if you've got any questions, and as always, have fun, happy training.